Hello guys, welcome back to CeeFashion Academy. Today I'll be teaching us how to sew a corset bustier. Like I said, today I'll be teaching us how to sew a corset bustier with a keyhole neck. Please, I want you guys to make sure you focus, make sure you watch this to the end. It is very, very important. And also make sure you subscribe, make sure you like this video. Thank you very much. Okay, first we start by gumming our material with an interfacing, which can also be called hairstay, or you can also use a soft gum stay. Okay, as you can see, that's what we are gumming. Then after you finish, make sure you cut it off. After you cut it off, use your pattern and trace out. Please trace it out. Make sure you add ½ inch on all the parts. This ½ inch is for what? Same allowance. Make sure you do that. For those of you that doesn't know how to cut a corset bustier, I'll be putting the link in the description box. Please make sure you go there, click on it and watch it. It is very, very simple and well explained. Okay, now cut it off. As you can see, cut off your pattern. Please do this for the front and the back. Make sure you do this for the front and back. Don't forget to add your what? ½ inch allowance. And also make sure you label so as not to make a mistake, so as not to place the other one with the one that is not supposed to be with. Do you understand? Make sure, as you can see, it is well labeled. Very, very well. Okay, now label it very well. After you are done labeling it, next thing to do is to do what? Finally cut it off. As you can see, we are doing now. Okay, so please make sure you like this video. Make sure you like this video, because the more you like it, the more you get to see all our videos. Okay, as you can see, it is now well placed. Now we are done doing this. Please also make sure you do the same thing to other parts of the pattern. Cut it off, giving what? ½ inch allowance. As you can see, please do the same thing to the front and back, which we are also doing now. Okay, this is the same thing we are doing. This is actually the back. We are cutting it off. We are adding ½ inch, which is our what? Same allowance. We are doing all these things both on what? Front and back. Please don't make mistake. Make sure you do it like this, so at the end of the day you'll be able to get a perfect corset bustier. Okay, as you can see, we are done cutting it off. Now next thing we are going to do, as you guys know, is to do what? To go and join it together. As you can see, we are joining the bustier. So in order to join the bustier together, as you can see, place it very well. Make sure you don't make mistake. Follow your labelings so as not to make mistake. Okay, now follow your labelings. Make sure you do what? Sew very well. As you can see, we are sewing it now. Okay, do all these things. Do this sewing on the what? The original material, and also on the what? The lining. Please make sure you do this on the original material and on the what? The lining. Please don't make mistake. Please make sure you watch this video to the end so as to uncover all the secrets. It is very, very necessary. As you can see, we are done coupling the what? Corset bustier. Are you seeing? We are done coupling the what? Only the cup. Now we also, as you can see there, we also going to couple the what? The other sides. We are done coupling the cup. Now we are going to couple this one. Now next thing you need to do, as you can see, just folded it. Join the two sides. As you can see, join the two middle sides. Okay. Okay. As you can see, we are joining it. We are just on the process of forming the what? Corset bustier. Okay. Okay, do this same thing to the other side. As you can see the other side. Now turn it and also do what? Sew with your what? ½ inch allowance. This ½ inch allowance is the ½ inch allowance that you already added while doing what? Tracing with your pattern paper, as you guys remember. Okay, make sure you sew it out. Okay, now we are done sewing it up. Please take it to your ironing table and iron. After you finish ironing, then that's when you will have to do what? As you can see the bustier, connect to the bustier. Please connect it. Do you want see how do you connect this bustier? Look at that middle part. Are you seeing it? Connect it middle to middle. Now so from one side, so you guys can see it. This is the middle part. Okay, but before that, I want you to place it well. Are you seeing this small side goes to the what? Center part. Are you seeing it? The small side of the bustier go to the center part. Please don't mistake. Don't do any mistake. Do you understand? Look at it. The small part of the bustier, while the bigger side goes to the what? The other side. Okay, now in order to connect it, are you seeing it? Middle to middle. That is where you joint the bustier on its own and the body. Connect it. Now sew from one side to the end, and also do the same thing on the other side. Sew from one side to the end. So you guys can see. Now make sure you backstitch in order to make it stronger, so as not to lose. Okay. Please be careful while sewing this thing, so as not to do the wrong thing. As you can see, I'm taking my time in sewing it, so as to get a very perfect corset bustier. Okay, so you can see we are done on one side. We started at the middle, we are done on one side. Now we'll be sewing from the same middle to the other part. That is what we'll be doing now. So you guys can see we are sewing from the same middle to the other part. Please, whatever you do on this side of the bustier, do the same thing on the other side. You understand what I mean? Whatever you do on this side of the bustier, do the same thing on the other side. Now, as you can see, we are done sewing this particular bustier. Now, we are going to sew the second one. Please, exactly what you did here is what you will do on the other side. Okay, like I said, exactly what you did on the other bustier is what you will do on this particular bustier. Please make sure you follow all the instructions so as to get a perfect corset bustier. Okay, like I said, start from middle, the same way we did the other one. Are you seeing it? Middle to middle. Where now on the body there is a place where we joint the middle part to the side. Then on the bustier too, on the cup, we also join it. So start from that side, middle to middle. Make sure you back stitch. Do you understand? Make sure you back stitch. Now start from the middle, sew to the other side, sew to the end of other side. Then after you are done doing that, start from the middle also and sew to the end of the other side. The reason why we are sewing from the middle is so as to get equal stitch, like so as to make everything equal. It is very, very necessary to start from the middle. Else, unless you think you know how to get it without starting from the middle, but I recommend you starting from the middle. Okay, so do this. As you can see, we're almost done sewing this side. Do the same thing to the other side. Please, if you like what we do, I want you to make sure you subscribe and make sure you click on that like button. It is very, very necessary. Okay, so you can see we are also starting from the middle again so as to finish the other side. So my dear, I don't know, most people used to be very scared when it comes to sewing. The truth is that sewing is so easy. It's all about you making up your mind that this is really what you want to do, and you see it becoming so easy for you. Okay, so as you guys can see, we are done coupling the two bustiers of the corset bustier. Okay, so next thing we are going to do now, for me, I don't just leave it like this. I might want to do the ironing, okay, but next thing I want to do is to do what? I want to top stitch on the corset bustier. I want to top stitch on the bustier itself. Okay, now, but first of all, I'm trimming out the excess. You know, I had an excess at the middle, which they are both equal. Okay, as you guys can see, I'm actually top stitching. Are you seeing it? This is how you top stitch. Okay, make sure that the seam allowance is coming to the part where you are top stitching. Okay, do this on this particular bustier and also do it on the other bustier. This is so as to get a very firm corset bustier. It is very, very important. Okay, as you guys can see, the cup is now more formed than before. So this is the advantage of the top stitching, which I actually teach. Some persons also do this top stitching so as to get a well design, like in form of a design. Whatever reason you put the top stitch, doesn't really matter. What matters is doing a great job there. Okay, so next thing, this is very, very important part. Next thing we are going to do is to do what? To cut the yoke. Okay, as you guys can see, in order to cut out the yoke, look at it. If your under bust length is 14.5, which we need to add ½ inch allowance, making it 15. Now look at from shoulder to upper chest is 7 inches. That means it's 7 inches we really need for our upper part, which is the yoke. Now we are not going to cut out 7 inches. Now, for the sake of this tutorial, we are going to add extra 6 inches allowance. This is to make it excess, because because we've not even started trimming. We've not trimmed the neck, we've not trimmed the shoulder, so we need it to be what? SS. As you can see, 7 inches, which is what? From shoulder to the what? Upper chest. Add extra 6 inches to it, which will make it what? 13. Now cut out what? 13 inches. That is actually what we are cutting at now. Okay, now if there's something you did not understand here, please, I want you to make sure you comment in the comment section below. I'll be able to do what? Answer all your questions. Okay, cut it out. Please, whatever you do on the front is just the same thing you do at the back. Do you understand? Whatever you do on the front is exactly the same thing you do at the back. Okay, but right now we are working at the front. So after you are done cutting it out, next thing you need to do is to do what? Take your corset bustier, as you can see, place it. Please still make sure that you still have excess more than 7 inches at the upper part, so as to enable you have enough allowance to trim. Okay, now me personally, I don't like to fold into 2. I like to expand it so as not to make a mistake. Sometimes when you fold into 2, your measurement is not usually correct. Are you seeing it? Now place your tape, look at it. It's still more than what? 7 inches. Okay, next thing you need to do is to do what? Take your chalk and mark it out. Mark out the shape. Are you seeing it? Mark out the shape. After you finish marking out the shape, next thing you're going to do is to do what? Take your rule, connect very well, and do what? Cut it off. Okay, take your rule, connect very well, and do what? Cut it off. Please, I want you guys to support us by clicking on that like button. It is very, very necessary. Okay, now take your scissors and do what? Cut it off. Okay, now are you seeing it? Now at this age whereby we traced, please, I want you to cut it off exactly what you traced. Cut it off exactly what you traced. This side is the cleavage side. Are you seeing it? Cut it off according to what you traced here. Okay, now as you guys can see, this is the lining. We are still going to use this lining. After cutting out this lining, we're still going to use it and cut out the what? Original material, which is the what? Sequin material you are seeing. Okay, now remember, this thing now we are cutting now is a keyhole yoke. That means going to have opening at the middle part. Okay, now take your iron and iron. Take your iron so as to get a very straight and very nice material. That is the lining. Okay, remember what I said, this is a keyhole yoke. That means going to have opening. So in order to create the keyhole is just that design at the middle part that is open. Okay, now place your tape. Are you seeing it? Mark out 2.5 inches. Please, what you are marking out is not, this is not fixed. It depends on how open you want it to be. Are you seeing it? Now mark out 2.5. As you can see, mark out 2.5. That is the length. Okay, after doing that, still do the same thing as the what? The width. Are you seeing it? After doing that, still do the same thing as the width. Now in this case, we are using what? 3 inches for the width. Now after you are done, remember, this is the damp part of the what? Now this is the damp part of the yoke. That means the part that connects to the what? The upper chest of the what? Upper part of the what? Bustier. Okay, this is to achieve the what? The keyhole. Now cut it out as if you are cutting a neck of a cloth. Okay, now cut it out. Okay, as you guys can see, we are done cutting. Remember what I said, this keyhole is according to the opening you want. Now, are you seeing it? Now, when you place it, see what I mean? For those of you that did not understand what I was cutting, look at it now. Are you seeing, when you place it, you see the opening at the middle part? Okay, now we are going to use this lining to cut out the what? The material also. Okay. Now what I'm doing now, I'm still taking my tape to check. Are you seeing it? This is what? 15 inches. I still have allowance at the what? Upper part. That means the work is successful. It's okay. Okay. As you guys can see, I'm checking it. My tape where my hand is at the underbust is what? 15 inches. Now take the same material to cut out the what? Take the lining to cut out the what? The material. As you can see. Okay. After you finish cutting it out, do the same thing at the back. Like I said, do exactly the same thing at the back. Okay, after doing that at the back, next you're going to do is the what? That keyhole side. I want you to go and lock it. As you can see, this is the keyhole side. I want you to lock it. The keyhole is that opening at the middle part of the what? Bustier. As you guys can see on your screen, what you're actually seeing here is the what? The keyhole side. Okay, now make sure you lock it with what? 1/4 or 1/2 inch. After you finish locking it, make sure you iron it out. Iron it out very well. Okay, so you guys can see we are done locking it. Please also make sure you do what? Sewed out the back part also. Okay, please don't forget to top stitch. As you guys can see, I'm actually top stitching. Okay, top stitching helps to make it relax. Now look at what I'm actually doing. Are you seeing it now? Look at it. So next thing, turn it like the way I've done it. Now make sure you sew from that particular part. Are you seeing it to the what? Edge of the other end. You do the same thing from the cleavage side to the edge of the other side. Okay. Are you seeing it? Okay, now turn to the other side also. Are you seeing it? Turn to this very side. Now start from this side to the edge of the other side. Okay. Remember on the corset on the body, we are still going to turn with the lining. Okay, which the lining is actually what? Padded also. Okay, after you are done, now look at it. Okay, we are not exactly done. We are not fully done. Okay, finish up your stitch. Make sure they are all equal. Make sure your calculations, everything, they are equal so as to achieve a very perfect work. Okay, as you guys can see, I'm done sewing it out. As you guys can see, okay, but remember we are going to turn with the what? The lining. The lining is exactly, the lining, the corset bustier lining. As you guys can see, it is not, it doesn't have any lining. So for you to, what you need to do is take your lining and place on top of it. Are you seeing it? I folded out the yoke first. Now look at it now. This is the lining of the what? Corset bustier. Place it and sew. As you guys can see, what I actually did was, I first of all folded the yoke inside so as to give me opportunity of placing this one rightly. Now start from the middle. Are you seeing it? Start from the middle and sew to the other edge, also from the middle to the other edge. Okay, please make sure you sew carefully. After you finish sewing, make sure you also do a top stitch in order to make it relax. After that, please make sure you lock all the sides. It is very, very necessary. Do this thing on the front part of your corset bustier and at the back part. We are almost done, as you guys can see. Okay, are you seeing it? Okay, now next thing remaining is to look at the back part, look at the front part. As you guys can see, okay, look at the back part is actually joined, it's still SS. Look at the front part. Next thing we need to do is to do what? Fold out the front part, place it with the back part so as to do what? Trim out both the neck, the armhole and the rest. Okay, take your pin and hold it firm so as for it not to shake. Make sure you place it very well. Okay, so you guys can see, I'm holding it with what? Pin. That is office pin. Okay, as you guys can see, I've placed it. The back seems longer than the front. That doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, we are going to cut it off. Now look at what I'm going to do. Okay, place it very well. Remember what we did? Our underbust length is what? 14.5 plus half, which is what? 15. That half is for what? Shoulder joining allowance. Because something about bustier is, if your underbust length is 14.5 and you use exactly 14.5, after you finish joining your shoulder, it's no longer going to be 14.5. Rather, it's going to be what? 14, which might affect you. So that's why we usually add half-inch allowance. Okay, are you seeing it? Place your tape from the underbust, mark out the 15 inches allowance. Are you seeing it? Remember, you still have your half-inch allowance in that 15 inches. Are you seeing it? Mark it out, the 15 inches allowance. Place it very well. Make sure you're not making mistake. Are you seeing it? Mark it out straight. This is your shoulder line. Okay, now after you are done marking it out straight, next you're going to mark out is your the shoulder. The shoulder is 16 inches. Okay, the shoulder is 15 inches. That is 7.5 plus half, which is 8. Now apply your shoulder slope. Okay, as you guys can see, this is the standard neck width, which is 3 inches. Now as you guys can see, we've applied our shoulder slope. Now this is the armhole length. What I usually use as my armhole length is exactly the same thing I used as my shoulder. I use it as my armhole length. Now as you guys can see, we are done. Okay, next what is remaining is our neck. The neck, which we are going to do now. Okay, first of all, mark out your neck width. As you guys can see, our neck width. Okay, now mark out your neck depth. Okay, the neck depth, which what I'm going to use now is what, 3 inches. Okay, mark it out. Make sure you do what, curve it out. Okay, then after you are done doing that, analyze it very well and take your scissors and do what, cut off. Okay, so you guys can see, now take your scissors and do what, cut it off. Okay, make sure you apply the armhole deflect only on the what, the front part. Please make sure you apply it. Is either you apply it now or you apply it when you are doing what, fixing your sleeve. Okay, this is the what, back neck. Shape the back neck to any design, any style you want. As you can see, my back neck also has a what, a design, somehow like a keyhole. Okay, so you guys can see I'm done trimming it out. So next thing we are going to do now is to do what, we are going to place it and do what, impute our body measurement. Okay, but okay, now let's cross check to see whether our work is correct. We're supposed to have what, 15 inches. As you guys can see, it is 15 inches. Okay, remove all the pins. Remove all the pins. Okay, so you guys can see, wow, after you remove all the pins, now place it. You can see the keyhole at the middle part. As you guys can see, this is a very neat work. I love this work. This work came out very well for the owner. Okay, this is the neck, this is the, so this is the simplest and easiest way to apply this, to work on this thing. Okay, next we are going to do what, impute the what, the body measurement. As you guys can see, this is the bust. You impute the body measurement on the bust, and you also impute the body measurement at the what, on the bust. Wow, this is light off. Actually our light went down, so please, I want you guys to bear with me. Okay, so we are still going to impute the body circumference. After you are done doing that, you take it to the table and do what, connect. You do what, sew it out. So that is it. So as you guys can see, we're almost done with the what, corset bustier. We're almost done with the corset bustier. If you love this video, please don't fail to subscribe to our channel. That is if you are new, if you have not subscribed yet, because we have a lot of things to bring to you. Okay, this time we are very engaged doing customers work, but I promise you I'm going to have time, get time, and do so many things for you guys. Okay, so you guys can see we finished imputing the body circumference, so we are going to take it to the table and couple. But before we do that, as you guys can see, that upper part, we don't need to turn it with lining again. You need to turn it with your bias. As you guys can see, I'm using a black bias. I'm turning it with a black bias. So that is actually what I'm doing now. Okay, turn it with a black bias, because it will not be so easy again to turn with the lining, since we already turned the keyhole, which you actually see now with the lining. Okay, this is what you do on the front and the back part. Okay, so you guys can see, I hope I've tried my best in order to explain how to sew this thing. So please, I want you guys to make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like this video. It is very, very necessary. Okay, so as you guys can see, in order to finish out the bias, okay, turn it and do what, sew. Okay, like I said, do the same thing on both your what, front and the back. Okay, so thank you very much guys for watching. So you guys can see, this is the finished work. It's looking so nice, looking so fine. People were really people loved it when she wore it. Okay, thank you very much guys for everything, for watching this particular video. Please, I want you to make sure you like, make sure you subscribe to this video, to my channel, and make sure you click on that like button, because it's very, very important. Encourage us by clicking on that like button. It's very, very important. As you can see, the beautiful ladies enjoy your hand. So if you really want to learn how